Exploring the paranormal perspective. Paranormal perspective.
You're supposed to say the lines.
Oh, is it? I gotta say that?
Yes.
Public service announcement. The views and opinions are the opinions.
Fuck that bullshit. They are my opinions and my guests, no one else's. Remember, this show ain't for chitlins' ears, so listening discretion and viewing discretion is advised. This is a paranormal horror crime show, so the scenes and the sounds can be a little terrifying to those little ears and those little eyeballs. And of course, there's obviously cussing. I mean, it's me. Also, please don't do anything that these stupid ass people do in this video or this podcast. This is for entertainment purposes and for you guys to listen with your ears, consume the knowledge. And now, time for the show. Exploring the paranormal perspective. All right, what's up, everybody? It's Shauna with Exploring the Paranormal Perspective and founder of G.E.E.K.S Paranormal. I hope you guys are having a fantabulous Sunday because I've had a wonderful weekend at the Missouri State Pen. And then now I get to interview the president of Beamstream. If you guys don't know what Beamstream is, you guys are missing out. Our Beam. Oh, hey, babe. I'm hearing stuff in my ear. I've got the president of Beam, Angel Munoz, on my show, who's going to be answering a bunch of questions for you guys on the next big thing in streaming. And you guys, whenever you guys were watching me this weekend, I was streaming out to 9 platforms. So through Beam. So we're going to ask Angel, thank you so much for being on the show and taking time out of your day.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be on your show. We talked about this a while ago and we finally made it happen. So
we did. I asked him a while ago to be on.
I think it's been over a month for sure that we talked about being on the show.
It has.
You were scheduled all the way through and you said this is the first opening and I'm like, I'll take it.
Well, it was funny. It was funny because I just started streaming on your platform.
That's
and
correct. Yes.
You popped into the and this is the first time I've ever had a president of anything pop into my stream. And so here I am all skeptical because I trust people, but too there's a limit whenever it comes to online. And he's sitting here saying, well, I'm the founder and I'm the president. And I'm sitting there going, where's the bio? And then he shoots me this bio and it's a long list. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know whether to say hey or what. You've done so much stuff throughout your life.
I have. I'm very privileged in that sense. I've explored all my interests and turned them into careers and all that from, starting in finance. I was a stockbroker and then an investment banker and ran a health company that we worked on the first nootropic or smart drug, let's call it that, because people recognize it as a smart drug called dimethylaminoethanol. My late wife and I worked on that project together. Then it's just a number of things financed what became MP3 and MP4. Then, decided to go into gaming after I sold that company and started
That's
esports.
a big switch.
I was always interested in technology. When a friend of mine told me you need to look at interactive entertainment, which is supposedly the name of the industry of gaming, I just felt an affinity. I knew it would be the future. I could tell it was an alternate reality, and so I decided to to go in and had the idea of turning video game competitions into a spectator sport.
It is
And
that.
yeah, and now that's a $2 to $3 billion industry. And of course, I've sold it, and then became very interested in bridging people's communication. And I started with G Tribe, which is a social media network for gamers that has about 6 million people. Then we did Beacon and Beacon Max, which has about 500,000 people. And then we decided to try our hand at live streaming, and that's what brought us today here. And that's called, of course, Beam.
Beam, yeah, Beam. I've been looking for something like Beam for a long, long time. And you got stuff like StreamYard, and you have things like Restream that's pretty amazing, but very, very expensive. And it's really hard to try to find something. Now, I do have a question about your platform. You know, we go through OBS to go through Beam, and then Beam streams out to all the multiple platforms. You can stream up to 30, right?
Correct. 30
30
platforms.
platforms, you guys. And all you have to do is go over there and pick a sponsor, and you're pretty much good to go. The question that I have for you, though, is it going to end up being kind of like StreamYard and Restream, where it'll stream out on its own without OBS? Or are you just going to keep it like it is?
Well, that's a good question. The first thing I have to say is that there are two options when you're creating an account. One of them is to pay the fee, which is $3.95 a month, or the other one is to opt in to be sponsored and follow the rules of that sponsor. You get a sort of a terms of service of them following, and you have to stream at least 4 hours a month to maintain that sponsorship. The thing about it is the sponsorship is not guaranteed. It's a month to month thing. So if it ends, you have to pay $3.95. So I just want to clarify that it's not free forever.
No.
Um, but to talk about OBS and all that. So OBS is a phenomenal product. I have no complaints about it. They created the jumbo jet of for live streaming. It's a product that was started by a woman, and she's an incredible engineer and designer, but it's a product that is for profit. A lot of people think that it's not, and it is. And they are compromised, in my opinion, because they're big donators, because they donate to them, are Twitch and Kick. So they give preference to these platforms, and in fact, their latest iteration or version of OBS breaks Beam. So we have had to tell people not to use the latest version of OBS. So that being
Ah,
said, we obviously are not comfortable in an environment that our future is dependent on our competitors.
right.
So our idea is that we would like to bypass OBS and have a direct, basically go live button, and you don't need OBS. Now, saying that and doing it are two different things, because
Right.
it's not an easy it's not an easy thing to we don't want to replicate what they've already done. We want to create our own code,
Right.
and that's going to take a while. So when you hear, Shauna, that we launch and I'm assuming that's how you
Aramin
pronounce your name,
says, "Show me your B."
Shauna.
Do what? I'm sorry. Somebody said something in my ear. Say again.
I said that I was assuming that that's how you pronounce your name, Shauna.
Shauna. Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. So
You're right.
so one of the things about it is that it's such a solid piece of software, and it's so ingrained in everybody's
Aramin says, "Can you show
mind,
me
that
her
it's
belly button?"
it will be a really big task to try to bypass it, but we want to bypass it. So when you hear that we are releasing our desktop app,
Yeah.
you probably want to pay close attention, because that probably means that we are bypassing
Nice.
OBS. And then all you do is you have Beam and you launch it, and there it goes to all your platforms at one time.
Oh,
And
that's
then
going
we
to be
control our
amazing.
destiny. And then we can control our destiny, because right now we have to deal with this third-party software.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, they released this update and they broke our it's just broken on Beam. And they know they broke it, because but it's not broken on other platforms that pay them. So we let them know. We're like, you broke our stuff here, and we have to tell people not to use that version.
Right.
Anyway, so
That
that
very
basically
interesting.
we would like to bypass it, yes. So
Yeah, definitely. Now, I do have a question about mobile stuff because as you've seen this weekend, I go live on mobile every time I go on my investigations and stuff. Now, is there going to be something for us IRL
yes,
peeps?
that's one of the number one requests that I get. We do have a mobile app. We have not released it yet. I'm not sure what the timing of the release, but it should be this month. Because it's completed. I do not know. The one thing I don't know, Shauna, if it includes the go live button and
Oh,
bypasses so that you don't have to use Streamlabs or their mobile app or anything like that. That's what I'm hoping it has. I have
right.
not had time to look at it, but I need to speak to our SVP of technology, Tigor Roshenko, and find out if he's implemented or if Benny, which is the guy that actually manages that, has implemented that. So it would be fantastic for somebody like you. You're
Mm.
out in one of those spooky homes that I would never go to, and then you can just go live with one button, and you're on all your platforms at instantly.
Right? That
So
would
that's
actually be incredible.
yeah, that's the kind of magic that we want to bring to the equation. So you can go live any moment because you go live even when you're driving. So
I
you're driving
do.
somewhere, and it'd be nice if you just hit that one button. You go to Beam and you go, I
Yeah,
want to go
just that
live.
one button.
Yeah, and then
Eh,
you're everywhere, everywhere.
And to
We're
have the
like Visa.
TTS to be able to speak out loud to me while I'm driving, so I'm not risking my life trying to read things.
That would be nice. Yeah, that part is easy. The difficult part is that one click
That one
button.
button, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's the hard part.
Now, I do have some more questions on the chat aspect of it because a big part of doing the IRLs and doing the investigations and stuff like that is interacting with your community. Is there and there is a little bit of a hiccup on some of the platforms that are streamed out to. Do we know how long it usually takes to get those fixed, or if they're going to be able to get fixed, or what might be causing the
Well,
issues?
um, if you have issues with one of the platforms that we support on UniChat, which is what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about, so
Mm-hmm.
to explain to your audience, one so let me step back a little bit. We think that Beam should solve problems for streamers and for viewers. We don't see our job as just providing you the ability to stream. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we support multi-streaming. We have UniChat, we have UniViewers, we have a number of things that are coming that kind of integrate into the platform what other third-party companies have been doing, like Streamlabs, or as you mentioned, Restream.io. So and particularly when it comes to the chat, we only support in UniChat 4 platforms: Beam, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. If you're not getting one of those into your platform, you should let us know right away because those work.
Okay.
So, but it is possible that for whatever reasons, when you launched it, it didn't reach the server and then it gets locked and you don't get your feed from a particular platform. Normally, it's YouTube, by the way, but that can be fixed fairly quickly. We are adding Trovo and D Live to that, and then there's several more coming down the stream
Rumble
for
should
us.
be one.
Rumble, yeah, I like Rumble.
I
So
do.
I mean,
I enjoy Rumble.
yeah, I like it. So I have no problem with the. I mean, I know it's a little political and and it's a
Ah,
little on the conservative side, but
I'm
I
using
don't
it for
care.
my paranormal. I don't do
Yeah,
politics.
it doesn't bother that doesn't bother me. That's their thing. So you
Yep.
can use it for whatever if it is. But yeah, Rumble is one of them. Yes.
And that's it's kind of amazing because you started a lot of stuff before the gaming platforms and everything, but there are a lot of IRL streamers, kind of like myself, that do a variety of different things. Like I game, I do podcasts, I do conventions and paranormal investigations, and to have a platform such as Beam that would be able to do all that kind of stuff would be absolutely amazing and simple for us.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for creating this. But do you want to tell everybody how long you've only been active? Because it's not been that long.
Yeah, it's almost 4.5 months. Yeah, 4.5 months. About almost about now. No, it's about 4.5 months. And we launched first in the U.S. And in 4.5 months, without any marketing efforts on our part, mostly by word of mouth, we're in 111 countries around the world. So
Yes.
Beam has become the fastest growing live streaming platform in the world in just 4.5 months without
It
any marketing.
that is
People like you, Shauna,
crazy.
telling their viewers about it, just people like you on their own, telling their viewers about how much they love it. A lot of people say the vibes are nice about, I don't know what
They
that means, but
are.
it has good
It means
vibes.
a lot of there's not really any competition and people are there for each other instead of
Yeah, okay, good. So yes, that is true. There is a sense of community and unity
mhm,
across all of everybody has their niche, everybody does their thing, and I see them in other people's streams supporting them and saying, "Hey, great job," and all that, and
yeah.
you know, whatever it is, just supporting. And yes, that does have that. Is that a panda that's on his butt there and
It
kind of
is.
drunk?
I think he is. I think he fell over after a
Uh,
few drinks. Well, I noticed that a lot and a lot of your, and this is another reason why I asked Angel to come on the show, you guys. Because I asked Angel if he believed in the paranormal, and your answer was
no, I don't. My answer was that I grew up as a scientist. I'm very logical. My children are both. So my daughter is a research scientist. My son graduated from medical school and now is in financing biotech companies. We always, I grew up loving science, and it wasn't until I went through a few experiences myself that after my wife passed that it made me wonder if there was a little bit more about life than what I could rationally understand. That's what I
right.
said.
A lot of things don't seem logical, but it's true, guys. It does exist. But I did notice that in a lot of your banners, you have a UFO in
That's
your
right.
banners.
That's right. Yeah.
So the UFO kind of that's paranormal. Why the UFO?
I think it's incredible. I love so let's say for example, let's get past is it real or not. Let's just forget about that. Let's blow that out of. Let's just say that in the human psyche, for quite a few years now, definitely since people started reporting these objects, let's call them that.
Mhm.
uh it's in the psyche of people, and I thought, beam me up, a beam of light coming from them. If you notice, almost all of our UFO images have a beam,
Yep.
one that is either lifting people up or shining on something, and the other one is destroying stuff.
Yes.
So we play on the psyche of this phenomenon, and I actually love those. Those are my favorite. I when we created when we were thinking about Beam, the first image we created was of this 1950s type rocket, and it just beaming up into space. And then there's the metaphor also that that UFOs go in water, go in air, go in space. I mean, there's all this complication to it. And it kind of is analogous to Beam in the sense that we are not just a platform, but we're also a service. And we're trying to unite those into one reality. And so I just thought that it would be a cool way. And a lot of people really like it. They tell me, man, you guys are the UFO people, aren't you? so
Well, it
so
did. It
anyway,
really caught my attention because, of course, of what I do.
right.
But you also have cats in your
We do. We do a
banners
lot of
too.
cats. So we claimed one day of the week. So that was the most marketing we've ever done is to claim one day of the week that we want people to come to Beam, yeah, at least one day, and that's Saturday, which we refer to as Catterday. And because Catterday is a thing. I mean, we didn't invent Catterday, but it is a thing. And And we, so on Saturdays we do Destruction Day, which we normally show some UFO destroying a street or something, and we show a cat watching it, like,
Okay, whatever.
yeah, whatever. It's just humans are gone.
Finally, yes.
We could take over. I saw the best cartoon the other day on G Tribe. Somebody posted a cartoon of some aliens knock on the door, and this kind of geeky guy opens the door, and and the aliens go, "We're looking for the most intelligent species on the
Oh,
planet."
yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. He's like,
Oh
like
my
he's
god.
so
He's like, "Oh,
excited, and then
well, thank
boom.
you." And then they zap him, and just you see his legs. His legs haven't fallen yet. And then they walk up to the cat and goes, "How did you two basically take over this entire planet?"
That was very good. That was a
Yeah.
very good meme.
So I just, cats by their very nature are very different. They're very intelligent animals. They defy a little bit about the evolutionary principles of intelligence and the size of a brain. Their brain size is basically the size of a walnut, and it's
Yeah.
very small, very very small. And they
But they're
are the
very
ultimate.
snobby.
Yeah, yeah, they have definitely personalities. They're extremely analytical. They know their slaves, pseudo owners, very well, and I find them super fascinating. So we have focused on cats for quite a while. At this point, the only static emotes we have are all cats.
Oh,
So
cats.
so Beam, if you look for the static ones, not the animated ones, you're just gonna find cats. And I mean, we'll expand them later, but we thought it'd be fun to do that. And they have invaded the internet, so it's kind of like, it's a cool thing. And a lot of people like it. A lot of people like our emphasis on cats, and
Oh, my
I
bestie
would,
loves it.
yeah, and
She's a cat person.
yeah, I can't say that. I can't say that phrase, but I will tell you that I have incredible respect and love for the two cats that have adopted me as their slave. And yeah, so I have two cats. One that is they're both Egyptian mouse. So arguably, because this hasn't been proven yet through DNA research, but they are the original domesticated cat. They were on the endangered list for many years, uh,
Wow.
and they are naturally spotted, and everybody that sees them really find them absolutely beautiful and fascinating. But they're also one of the most intelligent cats,
Oh, wow.
and they figure out stuff like crazy about you, and
Oh, that's scary.
and I yeah. And I have one, a male that's turns 14 years old. I think it's next week, and his name is Susenes, which is a
Aw.
Egyptian pharaoh. So that's obviously because of his, he's an Egyptian cat. And then my female, who is 3 years old, and her name is Sobek Nefru, but we call her Sobi for short.
Oh.
And that's also a female pharaoh of the ancient Egypt. So they're both pharaoh.
Interesting. So no
I
wonder they look so
recognize,
majestic.
yeah, I recognize they're the kings and queens.
My son just adopted a cat. Like, I was gone this weekend. I come home and I'm told, Mom, don't bring the dogs into my room. I have a cat in there. What?
Oh, that's great.
But she noticed your kitty in the chair over there. She goes, I see a kitty in the chair over there.
Oh yeah, that is Sobi, and she's supervising the interview.
Oh, okay. She's supervising you, making sure everything goes great. I got it. So, whenever you were a stockbroker and back in the day, did you ever think you would be where you are today?
No, no, not at all. I can quickly answer that one. No, I thought I'd probably be in finance my entire life, and liked it, loved it. There was nothing that I didn't like about it. But I decided that instead of him investing in other people's ideas, I wanted to try some of my own ideas. And that's what made the switch from being on one side of the equation to the other side of the equation. And that's
And,
been the pattern of my life. So
That is amazing. And you guys, what we're not using Zoom. We're using something called Beacon Max that he created. What are some of the features that set it apart from other platforms like Zoom?
well, I mean, but that's an interesting question because there's so many different things. But we see Beacon Max as a full communications platform and not just a video conferencing platform. In fact, what I like the most about Beacon Max is its texting or messaging, um, aspect because it's incredibly private. Frankly, it's more private than Signal, which there are
Oh,
theories
wow.
that oh yeah, Signal has the reputation of being the most private, but there are reasons to believe this is conspiracy theories, but there are some really good arguments for it that it's financed by the CIA.
I would
So
not doubt it one bit.
yeah, we're not.
Good deal.
We're not. And when you delete a message, it wipes it from our servers. So we don't
Nice.
keep anything at all. So and then the encryption is much better in my opinion, of course. And you can make phone calls on Beacon Max. You can transfer files, although that's not turned on right now. And it has a gateway to Beam also. So there is a connectivity, some connective tissue. And then of course you can do these video conferencings. And now to answer your question, in video conferencing, what are the differences? Well, I think your audience may be able to see it because I'm widescreen. I'm not a little tiny little thing. We have higher FPS. That means that it's more fluid when I move my hands. It looks like I'm moving
Yes.
my hand. It doesn't look like it's like that. It's just
Yep.
more smooth. We higher bit rates. Of course, every live streamer knows about bit rate. It's just a better experience overall, but it took us 7 years to perfect it. So I don't
Wow.
recommend anyone, and we have filed 5 patents to protect our technology. 3 have already been granted. 1 is under active review. So we definitely created lots of things to make this experience so unique. We also saturate the colors. We borrowed from gaming a little bit, so some of the colors feel a little more saturated. It's more natural for the eye. The widescreen view is more natural for the eye. We have better peripheral vision from left to right than we have from top to down. So there are many things that we thought of along the 7 years of development, and I use it almost every single day. And if not every day, probably every day, at least once. And we run the company on Beacon Max, so we know that it works. And we're very proud of that product, extremely proud of
Oh yeah, I know. I got a message and email saying, "Well, this ain't gonna work," because it sent them a link to Zoom, and I had told them, I was like, "You ain't gotta worry about that. We're not gonna use Zoom. We'll use yours." It just sends a reminder so I can remember.
Uh-huh. I was quick to react on that one.
you were, and
I
that was
was like,
fine.
that won't happen. I will touch that piece of crap.
But I am seriously going to switch from Zoom to Beacon Max because, as you can see, there has not been any drops. There has not been any hesitation. There has not been any static, any lag. I absolutely love it. And it's the same price as Zoom. So,
It's actually, yeah, it's actually the same price, but you get more
yeah.
for your experience. But for $14.95, which is the maximum, the pro level, it is an incredible experience, and I really, really recommend it. Anyone that needs flawless connectivity, for
Mm-hmm.
all those things that you mentioned, to make all those happen took us years. Years.
Wow.
I'm such a perfectionist, Shauna. I could not have the glitches and one of the things that really gets what's getting when we did the first iteration of Beacon, um, there was a mismatch between the lips, the movement of the lips and the voice.
Oh, no.
And there's a whole explanation for that. There's a whole explanation, but I don't want to bore your audience with a lot of
Oh, I don't think they're getting bored. I think they're enjoying it.
well, there are more packets for visual than they are for
Mhm.
audio. And they arrive at different times, and it's up to our software to combine them. Well, when I went to the other platforms, I noticed that everybody has some sort of a mismatch. It's not
Mhm.
perfect. So I said, how do we get that perfect? And created an algorithm that is trying to always match the movement of my lips to the voice. So when you look at me, it seems like I'm talking to you,
Right.
although they're coming through two different channels and arriving at two different times
Exactly.
on your end. Yeah.
Yeah, that way you're
So
not sitting there going over everybody.
for a podcaster, this is the only way to go. So,
Right?
and it,
Definitely.
yeah, and look, no interruptions, no glitches, no nothing. Perfect.
No,
And it'll be
it's
that
been
way
great.
every time, unless the person's on the phone. And if they're traveling and they're not static, then you're going to get some issues. Otherwise, if they're on a PC, and we have an app, so for the phone, but it's that introduces a number of things because you're switching from cell
Tower
tower
to
to cell
tower.
tower, and that's a lot harder to get
Yeah.
perfect. But otherwise, if they're on a PC, laptop, tablet, or a phone in a stationary position, it's going to be perfect.
Yep.
We have
I'm
the highest, Beacon Max has the highest satisfaction rating in the industry.
holy shit, guys.
It blows Zoom. Blows Zoom.
I will be
Zoom is the
getting rid of my Zoom.
Zoom is the second highest. So let's not even Teams with all the money that Microsoft has is not as
Oh,
nice as
I
Zoom.
can't
So
stand Teams.
yeah.
No Teams. Zappo said, G.E.K.S, we use it for our show and I assist in showing it off locally for small businesses. Oh, I'm going to be showing it off for a lot of places now, especially all the podcaster friends I have. So you might get an influx, which will be
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that must be Daniel Zappo on Beam. Yeah, he's the person you want to contact if you have anybody that's interested as a business. He
Oh,
runs that.
sweet.
He runs that for us. Yeah, yeah. Zappo's always,
Nice.
and then he also offers other support and all that to people from for their computers and their servers and all that. So I was just chatting with him
Nice.
before this on something else. And I told him I'm going on an interview, so he probably figured out which one it was if he's the one.
Well, Zappo, thank you for being in the chat. Look at you. Now, how does G Tribe foster community engagement among its 6.1 million members? Because there
We
are a
did it.
lot of people on there.
Yeah, well, the core people is smaller, much smaller, but you know, I got to tell you, that was the hardest thing I've ever done because this is a complete kind of inner analysis that I did. It was like it was my own discovery. And when you look at the world and you see what divides people, you come up with two subjects, primary subjects: politics and religion. We eliminated that. It's not allowed to talk about politics or religion on the platform.
Good.
And that did it.
That is good. That is
That
amazing.
did it. So, and also we don't have any advertising. So there is no ads. So we're not motivated by banner ads and like every other social media platform.
Right.
And we fostered a community that I am very, very proud of. I did an interview on Friday with John Sirigakis. He's been on G Tribe since before it even started. So I've known him for 12 years. And when I speak to him and we've never met in person, it feels like he's, like a family member almost.
Yeah.
And that's what G Tribe has is people feel like they're part of a family, not visiting a social media network. And that's really how we foster that kind of. I wanted something that I can go to and feel like I'm really part of other people's
Right.
lives. And that's what we're doing with Beam, the same exact thing.
Yep.
That's why I visit the channels and I go in there and ask, today I went into one of them and he gave me a whole list of things that were broken for him. That is not the ideal thing. So in fact, I asked Zappo, that's why I was talking to him. I asked Zappo if he can go and take a look and see if he can help this one guy with his problems. So I just think, Shauna, the differences. When I was a kid, I told my mom that I was not. Why am I so different from my brother and my sister? Why are we not more similar? And she took her hand and put it on my face and said, "What do you see?" and I see a slap coming. What? This
Are
is
you gonna
obviously
hurt me?
these are the 60s.
Yeah.
So this is not now where I can sue you. So anyway, and I said, I see fingers and I see your hand. And she goes, are those fingers all the same? And I said, no, they're different. Every single one of them. Goes, would you give one of them up just voluntarily? No. That means that the contrast between all those fingers make them all functional. And
Yeah.
that's how you need to look at life. And I have ingrained that into everything I do. I treat everyone the same. I don't
That
care.
is amazing.
I have friends that are billionaires, friends that are this, friends that are that, friends that, don't have two nickels to rub together. It doesn't matter to me. The experience of being alive is too important for you to put walls around you
Right.
instead of bridges.
Exactly.
And that's what I wanted to do with G Tribe, create bridges between people, not walls.
That's what a friend of mine said to me yesterday. I said, I have people that come up to me and tell me their life story after only knowing me for like an hour. And she said, well, because you're so easy to talk to, you don't judge.
That's
I said,
right.
well, I try not to. I do have an opinion on things, but I
Right.
try not to because, everybody
You're
has
probably
their own life and
You're
their
probably
own
doing better,
deal.
Shauna, you're probably doing better than trying. You're probably just doing it because people then open up. I experience the same phenomenon. In fact, a lot of my friends, they'll sit and smile while a person because I'll ask questions. I have no
Yeah.
problem asking questions if I'm curious about something.
Oh, I'm nosy.
And people, yeah, and people normally answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's the fun part when they start
that's
answering. It's like, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I am curious.
No, I don't even say that. You're kinder than I am.
Zephyr
So
said, to be fair, I would have thought the same. On
Yeah.
what? I'm sorry. I probably got that after another thing has already been said.
That's right. That's right. So I just, in answering your question, I just think that the world has gotten to a place where everybody's living in a bubble away from each other, and they have
Yeah.
an echo chamber. It's like an echo chamber of hearing the things that they believe in that's been created by these algorithms. And that's the first thing we did with although our head of technology is, almost has his PhD on AI, and we have deployed artificial intelligence, but it's to serve and to facilitate communication. Is not to isolate people. And we
Right.
don't do anything to create interaction. A lot of these platforms, they
try
want
to
to create
separate.
interaction.
I think
Yes,
a lot of the
because
platforms want to separate instead of
and
trying to bring together.
we don't do that. And we have
No,
people
you haven't.
from all over the world commenting and interacting. And you need more friends on G Tribe so you can get the full thing. So I'll post something next
Aw.
week about friending you, and
Well,
then you'll
thank
get a
you.
little bit more because I think you had 6 friends when I looked or something like that.
I
And you need
honestly, it's my fault too because I haven't really been on a lot. I'm behind.
No, but I'll help you. Don't worry about it.
Well,
And
thank you.
then it's a really, you'll find that it's like the best of humanity.
Oh,
Like I don't know, when I pass, I don't know what I want to be remembered for, but I think my efforts in trying to unite humanity should be the number one thing, because no one has those thoughts. I can tell you that right now. Everything is about what can we do to maximize the return on investment. That's it.
right. What can I
And
do to fill my pockets?
yes, and I just don't. I think life is too wonderful for just to have that narrow view.
Isn't it? It's too wonderful and too precious, and it goes by so fast. Why can't people just stop for a moment and smell the roses? And it's 18 plus because I cuss, you guys, and I don't want a mom coming on my channel yelling at me. There's the warning. There is a question for you. What Holly Reese says, what are his future plans for Beam? Where does he see the company going in the next couple of years?
Wow, that sounds like an investment call. So
Are you hiring?
yeah, exactly. Number one question I get, by the way, are you guys hiring? Which is good. I like that.
I've
And I
asked
remember
him time and
you
time
asked me.
again, and I'm
Yeah,
sending you
you
my resume, by the way, so you have it for future reference.
absolutely. So, Beam is, so on the development side, it's not done yet. So
Mhm.
we released on April 24th, 24. And so 42424, I just felt that it was magical numbers. I don't know why. I just love that. It's a 42424.
Yep.
It's hard to forget.
Yeah.
And so in that period of time, we were so surprised, Shauna, with the growth that it threw us completely off.
Oh
We
my
just
goodness.
we could not manage the car properly. It was like all over the place. And now we're kind of used to the pace. So
Yeah.
it took us about 4 months to get used to the growth pace and all the interaction and having new people every day on the platform. And now I can to answer the question directly, is our plans are first to completely bypass as many of the third party services that are out there that streamers have become very dependent on, and they think like that's the only way. And we're going to show that the only reason those things exist is because of carelessness from the platforms themselves. They could have
Yeah.
provided those from the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is, I think, a critical point for us will be the release of monetization, which we have not done yet,
I was
which
actually going to ask you
obviously,
that.
yeah, which actually brings the opportunity of people to make a living on our platform, which we want. So we want people to be able to make a living, and we're gonna. My job, my primary responsibility is to give our streamers as much visibility as possible. So we're going to be featuring them. We're going to promote them. We're going to do so many things for them. So that's another thing. Another a critical milestone also will be our release of our app, our mobile app, and then the desktop app. That's a big one because the
I'm looking
desktop
forward
app
to that.
will give us so much control, and it basically changes the paradigm of live streaming because the streamer can decide, okay, I want my viewers to have certain controls, and one of the controls will be that they can move, for example, your webcam for where you like it to out of the way and move it, and things of that nature, things that people have never seen before. And it's going to feel, like I've said in several locations, it's going to feel a little magical, and we like that.
Yeah.
And then ultimately for the 2-year plan, we really our goal is to have 1 million people on the platform. That's actually low, but that's our goal, is to just reach about 1 million people that are active, not just 1 million people that have accounts, but active people on the platform. And that really is where we want to be, 1 million plus. So
You're
and
not too far from that now, are you?
No, 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 we're way off. We're only at a little bit over 10,000 people in the first 4 months.
Oh, okay.
So it's not quite that
But you're
dramatic,
in over 120
but
countries now?
111, yeah,
Oh, okay.
111 countries. And but we really want to so obviously there are things we can do to blow up the growth. We just don't want to, because we honestly I not we I have my foot on the brakes when it comes to growth right now, because we're growing at a exponential rate. We've grown by over 600% in 4 months. This is just in the first 4 months. Our viewers have grown by over 1,000%. These are exponential numbers, and while they seem so great, excuse me, they can break us, and we
Right.
don't want we want it. That's why we do the server destruction
Gradual.
days. We want to test the servers, because our network interface and the way that we deployed it is like not like any other one in the world, and we just have to be sure that we can manage that kind of growth. So those are the things, and we just want to be, you know, e- everybody else, all the other platforms are like spokes on a wheel, and
Mhm.
we just want to be the hub. We want to be the place you go to go out to all of those spokes of the wheel. So
Right, definitely. And that again would make it a lot easier for a lot of us streamers out there.
I think so. And the uni chat. So
Yes, the uni chat, especially the uni chat. Oh
yeah.
gosh. What challenges did you face while launching Mass Luminosity? Because Mass Luminosity is your baby too, and its various products. And how did you overcome them when you were launching it?
Wow, Mass Luminosities. Probably 13 years old now. Mass Luminosity, when I launched it, it was initially a platform to help companies with their social media presence. Social media was fairly new at the time, and people were making, they were not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, what my mantra at the time, Shauna, was you need to think globally, not regionally. And
Mm,
kept on telling companies this. And we've worked with 55 different companies, lots of them names that you would know, and working with them on how to communicate with their audience and how to grow on social media. Then social media decided to first one was to do that was Facebook, and they wanted you to pay them to gain an audience for, let's say, if you had a page, and then they wanted you to pay them to talk to that audience. In other words, they broke the means of communication, and that's when I had the idea of G Tribe. And to answer your question, that was the hardest of all the things that we've launched was G Tribe. It was so different as a social media network. And at the
mm,
time we launched it 10 years ago, people were saying, this is unnecessary. I'm already on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it
yeah.
may be. And it's so unnecessary. Now no one says that anymore.
Especially with all the crap. I mean,
Yeah, no
jeez.
one says that anymore. In
That's
fact,
another reason that a lot of people I think are coming to Beam. It's because it's not a lot of the political bullshit that people are
no,
going through on other platforms.
I
And
I would
I
agree with that.
I honestly I like Beam. I hate politics. I hate how it tries to separate people. I mean, people have a right to their opinion no matter what. You live in America. It's a free country. I was in the service. I know it's a free country because of our military brothers and sisters that fought for our freedom. But being a part of this community is absolutely amazing. Angelic Angel is the one that brought me over here, and I adore her. She is a sweetheart. But you have built something so incredibly amazing, and I am so glad I got to meet you.
Thank you.
Say More said that Catterday servers would die with 1 million people on it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we have a lot of servers, so we hope that they can survive, but no, they wouldn't. Our core servers would have to expand quite a bit. Absolutely correct. Yeah, 1 million people on a Saturday. I mean, it would crash them, and you know what? We would celebrate it and go, "Okay, you finally did it. You crashed our servers."
Well, I know you deal a lot with AI too, because I've seen a lot of stuff that you talk about AI. You had an AI voice that popped up here, scared the shit out of me, you guys. I didn't know what was happening. But how does your approach to technology reflect current trends in artificial intelligence and interactive communications?
Well, I mean, artificial intelligence has taken a leap forward with OpenAI and ChatGPT. They're just incredible. And in fact, I find it so funny. Apple is talking about Apple Intelligence, which they're trying to, appropriate the term AI, and but it's ChatGPT. It's
Yeah.
it's all it is. So um, I think that the industry has done a few things wrong, and I think that's where OpenAI really took a turn in the right direction, which is the way that I always felt. I think artificial intelligence should be at the service of humans, not the other way around.
Exactly.
So I think that IBM with Watson, which is their AI, made a
Mm-hmm.
critical error on showing and playing different games and beating humans and being smarter. They thought that by showing humans being crushed by an artificial intelligence, that would bring admiration, and that was a miscalculation on their
No.
part. It brought fear.
Yeah.
It brought the Terminator kind of idea.
Exactly.
And then ChatGPT came along and said, no, we can create something that can assist you. It can create better emails for you. It can create better presentations. It can research things. It can create images. It could create all this. And then all the other ones that have come after those are just reactions to OpenAI's platform. And I think that's the right direction. I think that the direction is that AI should be subservient and a part of. We are cyborgs already. You know, if you leave your house without your phone, there's a 90 some odd percent chance you're going to go back for it.
Yep.
So we're already dependent on technology. And the more intelligent that technology gets, we should not be fearful of it. We should integrate it into it. What's what's going on is there's going to be some point of fusion between technology and humans. That's the next level of evolution, and frankly, I'm looking forward to it. I hope I live it long enough to see it. Some merger with technology. I mean, I'll put the Google chip. I'll volunteer for that if I can just know everything.
Right. I'll volunteer for the no pain in my joints if we can get
There you
something.
go. The blocker chip. So you put a little
Right.
chip and it blocks all the pain. So
Just the joints.
yeah, so I'm very excited about artificial intelligence. I think it's a poor name, artificial intelligence. There's nothing really artificial about intelligence. Intelligence is the way of nature. Nature, if you look at it, it's intelligence. So that's an innate ability of the universe because the universe is nature.
Mhm.
And so I just think that this is just the next level. And the fact that it can process so many different things so quickly is it's so incredible for me. And it revived a passion of mine, Shauna. I use AI to write music, and yeah, it's not great. I'm not going to say I'm going to win an award, but I can tell people how I feel about them
Yeah.
through music, and I write the lyrics, and then I tell it exactly how I want it to sound, and it takes maybe 5 minutes, sometimes a little faster, and it generates a song. And normally it just hits it right away, and I'm like, that's what I
Right?
want.
I've
So
never
so I've
done
written
that. I've never done
yeah,
that.
I've written songs for my children, for friends,
Oh, wow.
for all kinds of things that I wanted to have the words to express.
Right?
So I'm a poet, so I can write the
Right?
words, but I never studied music. And so now I can just say, hey, this is what I want, and I want it to sound like this, and over here, this, and all that, and extend this part. And then all of a sudden, there's a
Oh,
beautiful song. And that's
that is
AI.
awesome.
That is a great use of AI. It enhances my life. It makes me
Mm.
a mega human when it comes to now music.
I actually had a friend make an AI. The song that plays after my podcast, that was made from a friend of mine using AI. So I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
oh wow, that's cool.
Was that Chirp Man?
I'm sorry, say again.
Was that Chirp Man or not?
It was DTAP that
Oh,
actually
okay.
did it for
Yeah, all
me.
right.
And I was
Okay.
like, wow, that is actually pretty cool. And but it was awesome to hear somebody, create something for you that, I mean, even though it was using AI, it was still, a very sweet gesture. It was
I
nice.
think so. I don't think that minimizes it. I think that the
Mm-mm.
fact that they take the time and they go out there and it's not easy. It's not
Mm-mm.
it's not difficult, but it's not, you just don't go there and create a song. I
Yeah,
mean, you
right.
can, but it's going to be kind of generic.
Crappy.
Yeah, so you want to spend some time with it, but I haven't done it in about a month or so because I've been too busy, but I enjoy it very much. It's a
You are in
very
meetings every
relaxing.
day.
I am. I am.
He'll pop into my channel and say something to me and they're like, okay, I gotta go to a meeting. And he's gone. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, meeting after meeting. But I can
I
understand that
am. Well,
because
we've done something really interesting from the corporate structure of the company.
mm-hmm,
The board of directors of Mass Luminosity, which is a company that you were asking me about,
mm-hmm.
and um, decided, and obviously I prompted the vote, but that doesn't mean that they're going to vote as I prompted it, that Beam should be its own entity. So in the last few months, we've been working on Beam being a Texas corporation of its own, and we've already
Oh,
finalized that. So you can imagine all the meetings and all that. So
yeah.
Beam's corporate name is Beam Media Corp. and it's a Texas corporation. Anybody can look it up and see. And so we got that. And then the next check mark was are we going to finance Beam? And then I have a very close group of friends that have helped me finance our projects, including myself that participate. And so far, every single one of them has agreed to participate. So
Nice.
we now have some financing also behind this new corporation. And then we won an award. It's not an award, it's a recognition from Cloudflare, which is a company that provides servers and all that. And they are introducing Beam to a number of VCs because Beam is a startup, right? So it just
Mm-hmm.
is basically 4 month, let's call it 5 month service or in platform. And so that we can do what's called a pre-seed and seed round. So we want to have enough finances to see ourselves for the next 5 years providing services. We don't want to have the history of other platforms that came and went because they ran out of capital. Now,
Right.
the fact that we are not using Amazon servers for our service means that our costs are lower because like for let's say Kick, for example. Kick
Mm-hmm.
is a wonderful platform. I have no complaints about it, and people really like it. But it's AWS. That means that it runs Twitch code. So
Mm-hmm.
it's Twitch with a veneer on it, the
Yeah, you can
green and
totally
the
tell it's Twitch. I
yeah.
mean,
So it
it's
is. It is, and it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not
mm,
criticizing. It makes sense because it's turnkey, and they didn't
mm-hmm.
have to invest that much time. We invested 3 years in creating Beam, and we wrote every line of code from
Yep.
scratch. So the experience on Beam is not going to be like anything else, including the problems that we have are not like the problems you have on other
Right.
platforms.
Well, that was
So
one of the questions that I had for you. Pretty much answered is like, why should investors consider supporting projects led by visionary entrepreneurs like you?
I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else because I think that when you look at an investment, especially in a early stage company like Beam, you probably want to look at who the leader is because the speed of the team is the speed of the leader, and the speed of the leader is the speed of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So the leader really has a lot of influence when it's a small company. And what is their reputation? What is their track record? What have they done before? And that's how I made my investment decisions when I was an investment banker. And when you violate those, you normally are wrong. You end up going, oh, you make an excuse in your head and you go, oh well, they're not doesn't meet all the criteria, but still it seems like an interesting project, and boom, there it goes, it collapses. So that would be the way that if I was an investor, or as I am, I would look at it that way and say, okay, and then how large is the industry? And that's one of the things that people don't realize, that the live streaming industry right now is about 70 to 80 billion, somewhere around there, which was already phenomenal. But the growth of it is projected to hit $250 billion by 2030, and half
Holy
a tri
cow.
yeah, that's incredible. I mean, you have to be stupid not to make money in an industry like that.
Right.
And then $500 billion by 2035. That
Oh
is
my
it. The
gosh.
opportunities for streamers are going to be enormous. The thing that is so incredible about live streaming is that it's live.
Yeah.
So people don't, it is, you're looking at pre-recorded stuff. The only time that you have to see something live is on a sporting event. Okay. And that means that you have to make the time and go for it and get the schedule and watch the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we all live looking at things that were made in the past. And live streaming, when I hop in your channel, Shauna, and you're talking
Mm.
and all that, and I say hi to you, it's a live, real moment between two people that have never met each other, but that have an affinity already because I'm in your channel. I'm not Beam's channel, your channel. And that
Oh.
is what I love about live streaming. And I think that when I go to the Beam page and I see all those live red buttons going down,
Mm-hmm.
it is just incredible to me. Now they are
Oh.
pre-record. There are some people that record. There's a chef that has some pre-recorded things, and there's others that are pre-recorded. but 90% of all our broadcasts are live, and that is incredible. I like going through channel to channel to have that moment with another person, you know.
Right? I like being
And
live. That's why I love being live, is because I love to interact with people. Like Angelic, who's in the chat right now, just told me that Kick went offline. I'm like, oh, I'm
oh,
okay.
okay.
But Zappo's in there and he's talking about one of these days I'm going to get over there and maybe the dinner will involve a vacuum because we'll need to chat fast enough before he goes off to the next thing. And he also said, there's a wonderful way I usually summon Angel. I just have to mention leather jacket and he appears.
He's teasing me on that one.
So
I'm gonna get you for that, Daniel.
But yeah, OBS. This is another reason why I had asked earlier
Well,
if Beam was going to have a thing because
yeah. Well, there is a particular issue with Kick, and so normally, as Angelic will tell you, because she's encountered all these issues,
Mhm.
is that normally what you need to do is lower your bit rate a little bit for Kick not to go offline. It's crazy
Yeah.
that that works, but it works.
Yeah, so you
And
gotta look like shit when you're streaming for it.
yes, slightly. I mean, anyway, we support crazy bit rates, but you can't do it because the other platforms don't support it.
Yeah.
So, you have to be under 6,000 and on the bit rates. And, that's one thing. Another thing is oscillating, patterns when it comes to your connectivity.
Mhm.
Um, OBS is very unforgiving about that when it comes to Beam. So it
Mhm.
sends a signal to Kick, oh, she's offline just because you just are oscillating.
Yeah.
And that can disconnect it. It's just a number of things. We're hoping that when we release the desktop app, all that goes away, but maybe I'm dreaming and not a reality.
I
But we
think it
think that
might.
once we bypass OBS and people can stream directly into all these platforms, we should have a very good solution. I'm hoping that I'm not speaking out of line. That's Theodore's, domain, but that will be my goal, and I think it's his goal too. It's just to make sure that people can rely on us and not be worried. Am I live here? Am I live there? No, you should be live all the time
Well,
and
I'm
monitor
going to be
yourself.
relying on you guys for the future, especially when I go to these haunted locations and stream out all these awesome EVPs and stuff that I get.
Yeah, that's too scary for me.
No, I was
I don't know,
actually
Donna.
in.
I don't know how you do that. I really don't. So
I love it. I love it.
I'll tell you a quick story.
All right.
So here is a story. There is a town in Florida called Casadega,
Mm-hmm.
and Casadega is a town in Central Florida that to buy real estate there, you must pass a test that you have some psychic ability.
What?
Yes, ma'am. Look it up, Casadega, and
Huh.
one word. And so anyway, long story short, I went there to have a reading. This is I'm talking 1985. So I'm going way back in time. So travel with me through time. And the person, in fact, you remind me a lot of her, your personality and all that, was this doctor that was a psychologist, and she did readings. And my late wife and myself really we were thinking about moving, and we just wanted to find out what it would, you know, does it look positive?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she really liked us both, and she said, "Hey, do you guys want to stay for dinner and all that?" And my house is right here next door. And I said, we looked at each other, sure. This is kind of interesting. We're gonna have dinner with a psychic, and then her husband arrived from work. He wasn't a psychic, but and we're sitting in the living room, and she has this beautiful old china cabinet, and I mean, I could look at it and see it. It was like behind this entrance, like this opening in the house, and it's right there against the wall. And we're just chatting and all that, and then all of a sudden the china cabinet starts shaking. And I'm like, "Did you guys hear that?" And they're like, "What? What? What?" And I'm like, "Okay, maybe it was my." And then it shakes again. And
Oh
then I go,
wow.
wait a second, that china cabinet is shaking, and the husband goes, oh, that happens all the time here. It's not a big deal. And I looked at my wife. Her name was Karen. I look at my wife Karen. I'm like, Karen, we're out of here.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
We're not doing this. And she's like, you could stay here the night and all that. I'm like, I'm not staying here the night. And you do that, Shauna.
I do.
You not only put the stick into the cat and shake it on their face, you go, I'm gonna sleep by you.
Yep. I do. I would have been like, is there any possible way I can set up some cameras and get a DG and just stay?
That's right.
Funny thing though, I am doing a true crime, or I did a true crime last week on this serial killer that was out in the Everglades. So it could have been
Florida.
Maybe one of those spirits that were like, you know what? I'm tired of people not noticing me.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I know that I was gone.
Well, I
True
know.
story. My wife and I talked about it for many years, and people just were incredulous. They didn't believe it, so I was like, it's not worth telling the story. But I know that you would appreciate that.
Well, thank you for telling me that story. That is interesting. I'm really gonna have to look that up and see where all that's at, and if there's any kind of history.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is with all the hurricanes.
I think it's been around since the 1800s, if I remember correctly. And yeah, and then I don't know if the lake is still there. It was built around this beautiful, super calm lake and all that. And you arrive there and you can tell already by something in the atmosphere that's kind of a weird place. And so you get sort of the
heaviness.
A little bit of electricity in the air. And
your fingers tingle. Yeah.
It was fun. It was certainly an incredible experience for both of us. And we ended up taking the person's advice and moving to Texas, which is where
that's where she told you to go. Oh, nice.
And I've been living in Texas since 1987, 2 years after. Well, we had to read in 86 actually, so a year after we moved to Texas.
Oh wow. Well, there is a haunted location called Hillsdale House that's near Dallas, I think, that I'm going to be going to. So.
Oh well, maybe we can grab lunch or something. So if
that sounds amazing. I'll let you know when.
With your crew, I know you always have the crew. I like to meet them. They're all fascinating to me.
They are all amazing. I have one friend that is a medium, and she is absolutely amazing. And I'd love to get her down. She's in New York right now, so I'd love to get her down to go down to the Hillsdale
So how do you
House.
do the magic?
The magic.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. You can eliminate your Southern accent in a second, and then you can grab it back. It's a magic trick. I hear it. I can't eliminate my accent, but you do yours. Sometimes you sound completely California. Sometimes you sound like no accent whatsoever. And then once in a while, the Southern comes out.
A lot of it has to do with if I'm on the phone with my mama or if I hear the accent. I'm from LA, Lower Alabama. So I grew up there.
Lower Alabama.
But when I moved to Oklahoma, I started at a call center, and my accent was so heavy and I talked so fast that the technicians were like, honey, you're going to have to slow down. I can't understand a word you're saying with that accent. So I've been here 15 years, and it's taken this long to kind of steer out of the accent. But you let me talk to my mama or somebody with a Southern accent, and I'll have it for at least 5 years.
With a Southern accent?
No, he has no accent whatsoever.
Okay.
No accent whatsoever, and it's funny. It's me. It's just me.
How about the kids?
Nope.
No, so just you.
Just me.
But you can turn it off. You can turn it off.
I work hard.
It's almost like an actress. Like you. I'm serious. Like I hear it, and then you can go quite a long time and it's not detectable at all, and then all of a sudden there it goes.
Right. Well, Oklahoma really doesn't have an accent. I know that I've met a lot of people in Oklahoma, and unless they live in like a really rural area, they don't have an accent. So living here, if you live somewhere for a certain amount of time, your accent kind of develops into their accent. And I think that's a lot of what happened to mine, is that there's some things that still has a little twinge to it, but otherwise, unless I talk to somebody with an accent, I don't.
No.
I don't. No. And I miss it
So
sometimes because I liked my Southern accent.
you worked on it. So you worked on sort of softening the accent. Is that what?
Yeah, I had to work on going slower and getting rid of some of the accent and just kind of talking with a phone voice. So
There you go. There you go. There it is. There's the magic.
you have to talk with the phone voice and make sure you tell everybody what is going on. And yeah,
There it is. No detection of accent when you sit there.
yeah.
Zero. So anyway, how do you can I ask I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
I don't know how you do what you do. I would not stay in those houses.
How do I do what I do? Oh, you mean like the
Yeah.
paranormal investigation?
Yeah, you go to a house that's I mean, the belief is that it's haunted. You go there, you guys are recording crazy sounds like people talking. I don't know what I don't know anything about what I'm seeing, but it's like a scary movie to me. I'm waiting
Humans
for the
scare me more than ghosts.
well, I obviously so. Obviously so.
Humans scare me a lot more than
Okay,
ghosts.
so that's why. Okay, you're answering the question because darn, I cannot do that. I will not. I'm like, so you were in a house, you went to this house that was haunted, and you
Mhm.
guys were recording things, and you use all kinds of technology and all that, and it's like Ghostbusters, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, it's time to go to sleep, and I'm like, what? You're gonna sleep there?
Yes, I love sleeping there because I can take my hearing aids out, and because I do wear hearing aids, I can take
Uh-huh.
my hearing aids out and not have to worry about hearing anything. But this weekend, I left my hearing aids in and I heard everything. I hardly got any kind of sleep whatsoever because every sound woke me up.
Oh wow.
But
Oh wow.
it's interesting. I love being able to catch because I want to tell their story. I want to show people that this stuff does exist, whether you believe it or not. It's there. It's
Right.
live, and I'm not doing anything to enhance it or to
No, you're
change
not.
anything.
No, no, no. You're doing a lot to enhance my fears, but you're not doing anything to it. Because and you guys are so comfortable.
Mhm.
You're like talking to them like like they're people, and you're like, yeah, make yourself present. Is there something you want to tell us? I'm like, what? I don't want to have a conversation with them.
They are people, though. They are
Okay,
people.
all right.
Well, a lot of them are people. There are some demonic. I've yet to, knock on wood, actually deal with anything demonic. Thank God.
Okay.
But if I get someone to ask me a question or try to get me to come over and that sounds something demonic, I call my friend Father Casey. I call him and like, okay, this is what's happening over there. What do you suggest? And
I
nine
see.
times out of 10, he'll take over and he'll take care of it from there. And so
All right.
I am from Dothan, Alabama. So you being from Enterprise, Alabama, that's pretty damn cool. But yeah, it's after doing it, I've been doing this for a little over a decade, and after doing it for so long, it actually helps me to be able to talk to people like you and the other people that are out there to know that you're just a human being.
That's all it is. Yeah.
You may own this company and you be a big wig. 'Cause you are a big wig over all this, but you're still a human being. You still bleed red and you still have feelings and everything else. So it helps
Well,
me.
that's the primary
Yes,
role of
Shauna?
life. The primary role of life is to have a human experience, not the money, the fame, the big wigs that you can take off, hopefully. That's not what life is about. That
No.
this is incidental. What life is about living.
Yes.
Your commitment, as I tell everyone, all my friends, is your commitment is to the present. You can't do anything about the past. So worrying about it or hearing, don't tell people your narrative about this and that. And when I was a kid, forget about all that. You're making decisions every moment about the person you want to be. And then
Mm,
try to work on a better future, not just for yourself, not just for your children, but for everyone. And then that puts you on the same path as I am,
yes.
because that's what motivates me is how can we make the world just
A
slightly,
better
just a
place.
little dent into the universe, not a radical change, but just a little dent. Leave your dent,
Exactly.
and then the world gets to be much better.
It
And look at
does.
look at us. We can't be, we're completely from different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from New York City, and you're from the South. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
We're both having a human experience, and
Yeah.
we're both sharing in friendship and true
Yes.
friendship live what our experiences are, and we're being elevated by that experience, not diminished as the media wants to
Exactly.
represent it. Like, if these people, she's a devil worshiper and all that. No. That's crazy thinking.
It
Just
is
open
totally.
your life to other possibilities, and then life shows you that it's a lot more profound than any
Exactly.
belief systems.
As long as you're open-minded and you listen. Listening is big. Communication. Communication is key. And I tell everybody that. As long as you
That's right.
communicate and have an open mind and positivity towards it. My
Right.
mama used to call me Sunshine. And I had a friend of mine yesterday. She was talking about how they were in the old building of the Missouri State Penitentiary and how they started feeling this ominous presence just start coming over them. And she said the minute I came in, it was just like sunshine popped into the room and it was gone. And I'm
That's
like,
great. That's
hey, my mama called me Sunshine. So maybe that's what it was, just my positive influence.
That's right. That's right.
But
Yeah. Be a carrier of light. That's the
yes.
best way. Even if you are completely scientific and you think about how, if you don't believe in anything, but the phenomenon of life is incredible. Every atom in our body was formed in a star.
Yeah.
So we are products of light just by nature.
You-
Just by the very nature is stars emanate light. Photons are created in stars. And that is incredible. We are every atom, everything, every metal, the entire chemistry of the body was created in a star. At least one, but probably many, because it explodes and then another star traps them, and then it goes through the process again. And under those high pressures of super gravitational fields that it creates all these new materials and all these new elements.
Mhm.
And then they all coalesce to create the human experience. What an incredible story. That alone
Right?
should be enough for us to be in awe of the human experience.
I am
And
so in
and
awe. I am. My slogan is shining light on the paranormal. And I'm not just talking about revealing if it exists. I'm talking about humor and laughter and fun and showing that life is fun. It's not all about being
you do.
serious.
I have noticed that when I watch your show and you're in somewhere spooky, you have a sense of humor about it. So you're not serious. Some other people that are with you are a little more serious about it, but
Yeah, I
they
think they
kind of
get tired
flow
of
with
it from
you.
time to
They
time.
kind of flow with you. They kind of go, okay.
I'm
But
like, no,
laughter is the best thing.
it
Laughter,
is.
it purifies the soul. I mean,
It
come on.
so is. Laughter is the best medicine. If you can get people to laugh, then you got it.
And
You got
laugh
it.
yourself. Make sure don't take yourself so seriously.
Exactly. If you take yourself too seriously, then everything's going to be. I have a cup and I don't have it with me, but it says apparently I pissed off a snowflake today. Who knew? Because I am just opinionated. I'm opinionated and I'm not scared to share my opinions. I'm not scared
Right.
to cuss. I'm not scared to do a lot of the things that a lot of people are worried to do. Because to me, you can be
Yes, Shawnee?
professional. Oh my
There it
gosh.
is. Say, there she goes. She go away. There she is. So what you just saw, everyone, that is the built-in AI that we have in Beacon Max.
But to me, you got to be honest and truthful. And to me, is if what you see is what you get, that is perfect right there. Because
Nice.
I don't want somebody to pretend to be something in front of me and then go behind my back and be something else. If you got
But
to,
if it happens, it happens.
yeah,
It's gonna
if it
happen.
happens, it
It's gonna
happens, and it
happen.
does happen.
Yeah,
But
I'm very stoic in my. So I've studied stoicism for many years, and Epictetus is my favorite. I actually quoted this to a friend today, but you're not it's not what happens that matters, it's how you react to what happens.
right,
In life, you have to determine what things you can control, what things you can't control. You
You
can't
can
control
control
people.
you.
You can't control other people's opinions. They're
No.
entitled to them. Let them have them.
Yeah, they are.
I can only control what my opinions are, and I
Right.
choose to not be bothered by that. So
Right.
I've faced a lot of people that, for whatever reasons, don't like me. That's fine. That's their choice.
Yeah, I don't care
Mine,
if they like me or not. I just don't want to be
yeah,
the fake faux into my face. You know, oh, you're
doesn't
like
bother me.
this.
Doesn't bother me. I allow it.
I don't know why it bothers me. It does.
You should seek deep into that. You should
I
ask those
should.
ghosts. You should ask those ghosts to help you with that
I
one.
should. I should be like,
It
you know
doesn't
what?
bother me.
Just help me. Don't give a shit
Is it?
about it like everything else.
Well, let me correct. I'm aware of it.
Right.
So I'm aware of it, but my reaction about it is my decision.
Well, yeah.
And and
Yeah.
and, and I just go, okay, this is a person that I cannot trust. That's it.
Yeah. That's pretty
That's my
much what I do.
conclusion.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
my
what I do.
conclusion.
Yep. I can't trust them. I just move on. Go to the next one. Yep. Exactly. You are right on it.
Like my grandma used to say, there's more fish in the ocean, so just don't bother yourself with just one of them.
There is, and there's billions of people. Oh, someone don't like you, Angel, says Sai. Who would not
Oh,
like Angel, right?
some people find me deplorable.
Oh.
To use a political word. I don't know. I don't think about it. It doesn't bother me. I just don't care. But yeah, some people just have, I can tell that I'm not their cup of tea, but
Oh,
that's all
well.
good.
Screw them.
That's all good. That's
Move
all good.
on.
Listen, Shauna, I discovered quite a while ago that I can only be me
Yeah.
because everyone else is taken.
Right. That's it.
So
That's it.
I'd rather be me and be hated by who I am than pretending to be someone else and then be hated by the pretension.
It's exhausting to pretend to be somebody else. Why?
No.
Why? It's like I was telling my husband, I said, I'm so forgetful. That's why I don't lie. I don't lie about anything. I'm too forgetful to try to remember what I've lied about.
Wow, yeah. Lying requires a lot of memory.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of energy.
It's a misuse of neurons. No, forget about it.
No, not gonna have that happen. But
any other questions on your list?
I do have, but we're gonna have to cut it short. I've got to get ready for work. Should cut it short. We've been talking for an hour and a half.
All right.
And I have enjoyed every minute of it, and I would love to have you on again in the future. But tell everybody where they can find you if they have any questions or if they want to talk to you or where they can find your stuff. I've already told them about Beam.
Yeah. So I'm on Beam, so you can look for Angel Munoz on beamstream.gg. I'm on Gaming Tribe, so gamingtribe.com. I think it's /angel is my profile. You'll have to friend me to communicate with me there. My profile is online, angelmunoz.com or munoz.com, munoz.com. And otherwise, if you're on Beam, you get my emails. And a lot of people have discovered that they're real and they respond and I respond back.
Yeah,
so it's not,
he does.
they're not automated, they're real. I'm writing them. So yeah, no, I don't hide behind, I know it's unusual for a CEO, Shauna, to be available and stop in and chat with people on it blows people's mind when I stop in their channels and start
It
talking.
does. It still blows
But
mine.
yeah, it's not a big deal to me. It's part of me integrating myself into the entire experience that I'm creating. It makes perfect sense for me, but I know that others like those walls around them, but no, like I said in the beginning, I'm about building bridges, not walls.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and don't go anywhere. Everybody, if you missed the show and you're coming in on the ass end of it, you can just rewatch it. You can go to beamstream.gg/geeks paranormal and rewatch it later. But next week, got some other stuff coming up. Got another paranormal investigation possibly in the works coming up in November. Depends. I have a grandbaby coming up in November, so we'll see. But until then, stay sweet, stay safe, stay free. Always do unto others as you do would have them do unto you. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Okay, 1 second. Awesome.
Come along, haunted houses all night long, gaming streams and ghostly scenes, just chatting with the in-betweens. IRL, she's on the case, finding spirits in each place. Every game she plays with flair, G.E.E.K.S, paranormal, she's there. Ghosts and games all night, G.E.E.K.S paranormal's bright, just chatting through sunrise. Trying to stream, it's quite a sight. From the haunted house she flies, gaining worlds under the skies. Chat and laugh, let's have a blast. G.E.E.K.S paranormal here at last. Ghosts and games all night, G.E.E.K.S paranormal's bright, just chatting through sunrise. Trying to stream, it's quite a sight. From the haunted house she flies, gaining worlds under the skies. Chat and laugh, let's have a blast. G.E.E.K.S paranormal here at last.